Only a few short days left for you to get the only Lego set based on Steven Spielberg's masterpiece Jaws. So the only question today is, should you? And with that, welcome to my review of the LEGO Ideas Jaws set, which is set to retire at the end of July. So there's only like a month left for you to get this, should you still want it. Came out in 2024, in August, which means it came out shortly before I re-entered the hobby. I always had my eye on it, I always wanted it. I've mentioned this before, I have some childhood trauma with this movie, which for some reason was on daytime television back in Germany in the 90s. And I had to leave the room because I was so scared. I was a small child, mind you. So I felt like I needed to get this to get some closure, and I feel like I'm getting there. I feel like having built this set now, I feel like I'm ready to watch the movie again. And you know, now that I am an actor, I know this isn't real. I've worked in the industry. I'm familiar with special effects and stuff like that. I'll probably be able to get over it. But should you have, I don't know. Maybe some of you have experienced the same thing and maybe you want closure too and want to get it, or you just want to get it because it's a cool looking set and that's why you're interested. Maybe there is a reason you haven't picked it up yet, and maybe that might be the same reason I had not picked it up until just now, right? 2 weeks ago. And that's the price. So it comes in at 1,497 pieces and it retails for a whopping $149.99 in both dollars and euros, $129.99 in British pound sterling. That's a lot of money. However, this is an IP and that's, you know, kind of what you expect from LEGO these days. So the problem with the set is that it's, while not an exclusive to Lego.com, it is still a retailer exclusive, right? Which means that you won't see many discounts on it. The only time I ever saw it on discount was for 20% off. I didn't pick it up then. I picked it up during the latest Double Points event and I got a GWP to boot, which is kind of sort of what you need to do, right? You want to get some more value back. There is another Insiders event upcoming, Insiders Weekend, starting July 7th. However, as far as we know right now, there won't be double points on Ideas sets, which is, you know, this is the theme. There are other themes like Jurassic and Disney, I think, where you could get double points. You can get 4 times the points on the Maersk ship. It's a different ship and it's really not the same thing. But if you're interested in that, go check that out. There will be a cool, desirable GWP with the Serpent Sea, then maybe that's enough for you, right? Maybe $149.99 and a cool GWP is okay, but we'll figure out over the course of this video whether or not this set is worth full retail. The set was designed by Oli Grigori in conjunction with fan designer Diving Faces. You might be familiar with Oli Grigori's work. He also did this LEGO Ideas Orient Express train, which I really like, and if I was into LEGO trains, I'd probably get that as well. He used to work on 4+ sets as well as LEGO Duplo sets, but has been part of the Ideas team for a while now. He also did the massively popular A-frame cabin, so maybe you're familiar with that set. I need to part mine out because it doesn't really go with the rest of what I collect. Let's have a quick look at the box. Obviously, up front you have that famous scene. Then at the top of the box, you see another shot of the ship from the backside. There's Brucey again on the side. And if we turn it around, you can already tell that there's something interesting going on with this set because you have the option to display it in 2 separate ways, and we'll talk about and look at both of them when we get there. But I think it's time to crack this one open. Inside you'll find 13 numbered bags, all paper in my case, even though your mileage may vary, right? Back in 2024 there were still plastic bags all over the place, so you might well pick up a copy with all plastic bags. You definitely get one that contains a few extra pieces, some plate, and there's a rubber hose element which you need for the railing, and then you get these 3 dark blue road plates, which I didn't even know came in this color. I thought they, you know, would just have them in dark bluish gray. That's the only color I have ever seen them in before, so that's very exciting. On top of that, you get a brown paper pouch, which contains both your instruction manual as well as, yes, this small sticker sheet, which of course is unfortunate, but we'll talk about it when we get there. Just make sure that you do not throw it away with the bag. I've seen countless posts on Reddit of people accidentally throwing it out with the recycling, and that would be a shame, right? You'd have to reach out to LEGO and, you know, save yourself some hassle there. Now, we should take a closer look at the instruction manual, because there is an interesting write-up in there about the set, about the movie, about the fan designer, about the actual LEGO Ideas design team. It starts with Johnny Campbell, who was the original fan designer. There is an Easter egg in the set around his name, but we'll get there when we talk about the actual stickers in the set. The second page discusses the LEGO Ideas process. It took Campbell only under 8 months to reach 10,000 supporters, which I think is really fast, right? He also discusses how he came up with the design for his initial submission. When we turn the page, there's a nice double page spread. Left hand side tells you a little bit about the plot, right? Introduces you to the characters, and the right hand side is more about the movie in and of itself. It is the original summer blockbuster set in 1975. And then on the next page, we'll get introduced to the actual LEGO designers. That is Ollie Gregory, Ideas senior designer, as well as 2 LEGO Ideas graphic designers. I really like how they decided to dress up as characters from the movie, portraying Quint, Hooper, and Chief Brody. Obviously, whenever there's a new LEGO set in the pipeline, there are multiple people from multiple teams involved, right? The person who does the build is not the minifig designer, who's also not the person who's responsible for designing all the printed parts as well as the stickers. So they all had to come together to make this set. But I think that's enough about the instructions. You want to see the set? I want to show it to you, so here we go. And here it is in all its glory. It is quite the sizable build, so you will need to sacrifice a certain amount of display space for it. The length is about 50 centimeters, which roughly 20 inches, right? 38 centimeters high, so that's what, 16 inches. It is the footprint basically of a large ship. So if you are into, the maritime theme and you want to collect more boats, this takes up the space of one of those really large ships. So I think the Endurance is somewhere here, right? It will actually take the place of the Endurance. I have that in my living room over there right now, and then the Endurance will go in the background. I'm working on that concept. I have a lot of Lego to shift around in order to make that happen, but I think we can. Before we go up close and personal, I want to talk about the build process a little bit, because that was fascinating. This is a masterclass in building. The entire bow section over here is basically built upside down. You will learn a lot about angles. You will learn a lot about, the snot technique and creating very interesting shapes in Lego, especially when it comes to the shark itself. But I hear you ask, Seth, this entire thing, this little whimsical little ship, that's 150 euros. And to that I say, no, it's not, because you also get this. And that's the back part of the shark. So yes, we can display that in 2 different modes. We can remove the shark. You can also remove the boat from the base, which, you also have to pay for the base. We'll talk about that in a second. But you can then easily remove the shark and then slot him in here. And there's a clip in there that hopefully certainly should. Yeah. And then just clicks in like that. So you do have the option of removing the entire base and then just display the thing like this. And you have your shark and your ship and your 3 minifigs. And it's possible to save some space by doing it that way. But mind you, you're still paying for all of this without using it then. And in its defense, I think this is a cool looking base. I think the techniques used here are just as excellent as for the rest of the set. This is a really good looking base. It is 3 of 13 bags though. So if you're not gonna use it, you are leaving some money on the table. That said, I still really like it. I like it in both configurations, and I really like that they give you 2 of these Jaws printed tiles, right? They didn't really need to do that, but they did. The same one is on the base right over here next to the quote, you're gonna need a bigger boat. So you get 2 of those. Can I get it to focus? Yeah, there you go. Which is nice. I want to talk a little bit about the mast and about the rope, the way I have set it up right now. So I've redone it since, right? So you have to tie 2 knots, right? Basically, you know what? We need to look at this when we get up close and personal. So let's go down there. Right, much better. We're going to start by looking at the stickers that are visible on the outside. I remind you, this is the sticker sheet again that comes with the set. It's not that big, and it's not that big of a deal, as you'll see in a second. The first ones, there's 2 of them on the bow. It says MS15LF over here. The same sticker is visible on the other side as well. And then there's one for the cockpit area. I don't know if you call it the cockpit on a ship. It's over there. Yeah, you can see that just above the steering wheel. These ropes are kind of annoying in the way I've set them up right now, because they come loose whenever I move the ship. You have to tie a knot basically. If you can you see that? Can I show that to you? Yeah, you have these balls and then they end over here where you would need to tie a knot. It's there, right? So you can tie a shorter rope and you get some more tension within the rope, but that comes at a cost. So right now they are kind of loose, right? Every time I let it go, right? But if you increase the tension on them, then the entire mast will shift forward forever. Which, you know, that creates some tension on the bricks themselves. I don't know if you want that. So that's why I decided to redo them. Maybe I'll redo them again. But if you don't touch them all the time, and obviously this is a display piece, why would you? So it doesn't really matter to me. But these are all the stickers that are visible on the outside. Let's have a look at the rest of the details. There's this really nice, this is the Orca printed tile that comes with the set, which is nice. And this fishing chair, that's pretty cool. I think it swivels as well. Yeah, you can rotate it around. There are a couple of fishing rods this set comes with. The ladder is pretty cool. I like that one a lot. And then you have these spares on the outside, both sides actually. I already mentioned that the entire bow section is basically built upside down, but that's also true for this cockpit area in here. This piece, it doesn't look like it, but it is upside down. You can tell that, yeah, if you look at these wedge pieces, they're also upside down because the entire thing is built upside down, which is pretty cool. We can remove the roof and have a closer look at the inside. The roof itself has this, you know, detail of, I guess those are whale bones or shark bones. They're just, you know, I think they're handlebars, yeah. They're bicycle handlebars, actually. Here's another look at that sticker. The same sticker is repeated on the inside as well. There's another steering wheel in there, and there's more to look at because there are more printed pieces and more stickers inside. There's this letter, which is a printed piece, and then there is this steering wheel detail, these instruments, right? The map is a sticker, as well as this. I can actually pull it out probably. Now I can't really get to it anymore. In there it says on the newspaper, it's the Amity Gazette, and it says Campbell attacked, right? And if you remember that Johnny Campbell is the one who designed this set, is the fan designer. Bottom of the ship makes it easy to slot into the base. We'll look at that in a second again. And I have to say, this is a good looking ship. This is a good looking Lego model. I think they did a great job here. Whether or not you want to display it just by itself without the actual base, and then have Brucey the shark alongside, that's really up to you, and I think it's probably, you know, if you run into display constraints, you probably want to do it this way. The base the shark comes with is very basic, but it does look good, and so does the shark itself. A lot of pieces go in there, more than you'd think, and the techniques used to get this shape, it's pretty well done. I was very impressed with all of the building techniques, and it looks really good, right? I think it looks much better than any Creator 3-in-1 shark they ever done, so this is good looking. I like it a lot. But let's put these aside and have another look at the base, which again, I technically like. I think it does, you know, create some movement in the water, which looks really good. I like the white accents on it. What I don't like is the way it's been constructed, because it's very flimsy. Now it's solid, right? But when you put it together, I had on several occasions, yeah, it broke on me because you can't really push down on it, because then it comes apart, yeah. Every time you push down on something, something else comes up again. Once it starts to fall apart, it starts to fall apart everywhere. And that's because they cheaped out over here, for example, because these are just 1x plates, and they could easily have been 2 plates, and that would circumvent a lot of the problem. In general, this is, yeah, I mean, I get why they did it this way, because they already sacrificed a lot of parts just for this base. And I'm sure people would be annoyed if even more of the entire set would just, you know, it would just inflate the part count by a lot. Again, this is 3 bags out of 13, just this base. Now, I understand why people would get upset about this, but here's the thing, they would have never just done this. If you don't, right, if you don't feel like you want to use the base, the argument cannot be, I don't need this, why do I need to pay for this if I just want to set it up like this? This is just a bonus thing they give you. What they really give you is the end of the shot. Yeah, that's also just attached on one stud, right? So that is prone to falling off regardless. Let's take him apart again. Right. This is basically the stuff that you get, that you have to pay for, that you don't use, right? The shark just looks like this. It's pretty empty in there. And it then just slots onto the rest of the base, like so. There you go. And the ship itself really just rests on there. It's not attached on any stud. But it does sit here perfectly fine because there's this round tile over here, right? So you don't really... Again, the base is falling apart, but once you put this on here, that actually slots in, kind of, sort of. Yeah, you just have to get it centered and then it does slot in. But it just is a good looking little scene in a not so little diorama, especially if you then go ahead and populate it with your minifigs. We should probably go ahead and take a closer look at them right now. So let's start with Chief Martin Brody. This is what the character looked like on screen. And if we now compare that to his minifig, I think they did a fantastic job. I really like his facial expression with the glasses. That looks so cool to me. The torso is absolutely fantastic. Knocked it out of the park, both front and back printing. And then you get these dual molded arms. How often does that happen? If you collect Lego Star Wars, you know, that is a rare thing these days for no good reason. He comes with binoculars and a gun. And yes, there is finally again some leg printing on this guy. That's awesome. You can remove the hair, turn it around, and then you find that there's another facial expression without the glasses. This kind of smirk, which looks really, really good. Then we have Matt Hooper once more. This is what he looks like on screen. And in comparison to the actual minifig, again, what a home run. You get another dual molded element with this hat and hair piece, which goes very well with the facial expression, with the beard. You get a tooth gap on here. He has glasses. The torso is fantastic, has printing on both the front and the back. And yes, once more, we get leg printing. That's fantastic. He comes with a camera and a piece of equipment I cannot quite identify. If you know what it is, drop it in the comments, enlighten me. And then we can turn his head piece around, and then we find here's another expression, which is also awesome. A little less friendly, this time more concerned. I like both of them equally well. They are really, really good. This is an amazing minifig. And finally, we come to my personal favorite with a little caveat. Unfortunately, this is Sam Quint. Again, this is what he looked like on screen. And if we now compare that to the minifig, again, awesome job. I love the baseball cap. I love the detailed print of his wrinkles, his expression slightly concerned, slightly upset. The beard is really, really good looking. And this torso print is absolutely fantastic. I think they knocked this one out of the park. He comes with a machete and a harpoon. And then if you take a closer look at his legs, yeah, that's the caveat I mentioned earlier. He does not come with leg printing. I'll show you all three of them side by side one more time. And then, you know, they repeat the same leg print on both Hooper and Chief Martin Brody. I think they could have gotten away with just repeating it one more time on Quint as well, and it wouldn't have cost them an arm and a leg. I think they should have done that. That's the one thing, the one gripe I have with this set, the one gripe I have with this minifig, which otherwise is awesome. Obviously, he doesn't have a facial expression on the back of his head because that would not be covered by the baseball cap. Other than that, I'm really happy with all three of them. This is a nice selection of minifigs that fit this set perfectly fine. And if you ask me, the entire thing is a clear recommendation. I think even at retail, this is not unreasonable. You do get a lot if you then decide to use all of it. That's up to you. If I knew that I did not have the display space and I would always have to utilize the back part of the shark and that display mode, then I'd probably try to get a discount. Again, sometimes you can, I mean, it retires at the end of July. There might be the opportunity to pick it up at a really good discount at some point. There might not, and it might sell out. Please keep in mind that you do get a shot at a really good looking GWP with that Sea Serpent come July 7th. And who knows, maybe Lego will even throw in a discount on this set on top to sweeten the deal, right? And at this point, I would say this becomes a no-brainer if you're still interested in picking this setup before it retires. It does have my clear recommendation. That said, if you enjoyed this video, please help out the algorithm by leaving a like down below. Sub to the channel if you haven't. Check out my Patreon. Consider becoming a channel member, just like Luke Highwalker 8900. Shout out to both him and my Patreons Fridge and MPE25. And little reminder, if you do decide to support me in that way, there's a little something I'm gonna throw your way. If If you become either a Patreon or a channel member, you'll then gain access to all of my BDP instructions going forward. This Athena Books pop-up store, you could start building that today, theoretically. My parts have finally arrived, so I'll get to building as soon as possible so I can show it to you in the next video. Until then, du bist gut genug. Welcome to my ant card. This is just a hangout. Yeah, I'm a crank that shit. Bro, that's so damn loud. It's nothing but a little intermission. Enjoy these soothing bars of utter indecision. Buddy people, you can trust me. It's an ant card. I know all those fire jokes and get you saying hard. It's an ant card. This shit ain't some voodoo, bro. I know you want to stay, but it's time for you to go.